morning and welcome to Thought for the Day on behalf of Avon Valley Churches on Thursday the 15th of October 2020. As the weather gets colder and the evenings start to draw in, our thoughts naturally turn to harvest, a topic which I'm sure you've heard quite a lot about recently, and so I do not intend to talk about harvest per se. I'm going to share my thoughts with you on an Old Testament passage that was read in the harvest services, Deuteronomy 26, 1-11. The title of this Old Testament book, Deuteronomy, comes from the Greek translation and implies a second law-giving. It is, however, more a restatement of the previous law, with many of the laws given in Exodus 20 being paralleled here. It is also quoted more than 80 times in the New Testament, showing, in my opinion, its great and continued significance for Christians both then and today. These events took place when the Israelites were on the plains of Moab, about to enter the Promised Land in about 1260 BC. The New International Version reads as follows. When you have entered the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and have taken possession of it, and settled in it, take some of the first fruits of all that you produce from the soil of the land the Lord your God is giving you, and put them in a basket. Then go to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name, and say to the priest in office at that time, I declare today to the Lord your God that I have come to the land the Lord swore to our ancestors to give us. The priest shall take the basket from your hands and set it down in front of the altar of the Lord your God. Then you shall declare before the Lord your God, my father was a wandering Aramean, and he went down into Egypt with a few people and lived there, and became a great nation, powerful and numerous. But the Egyptians mistreated us and made us suffer, subjecting us to harsh labour. Then we cried out to the Lord, the God of our ancestors, and the Lord heard our voice and saw our misery, toil, and oppression. So the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great terror and with signs of wonder. He brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now I bring the first fruits of the soil that you, Lord, have given me. Place the basket before the Lord your God and bow down before him. Then you and the Levites and the foreigners residing among you shall rejoice in all the good things the Lord your God has given to you and your household. So what do I think this passage is really telling us? It seems to me that it is talking about cultivating thankfulness. After 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, it is finally time for the Israelites to enter the Promised Land. And in this passage, Moses is speaking to them on the eve of the invasion. As well as repeating the law, Moses is also reminding the Israelites of the whole story, of how God has provided for them whilst bringing them to the Promised Land. Moses is in fact reminding them to be thankful to God. He did not ask much of them. They only needed to bring a basket of the first things they harvested on the land. I think the basket's important, as God is only asking for a small offering, not the whole harvest. If we think back to the time in the wilderness, we remember that God provided for the Israelites with manna from heaven. So why did this not continue in the Promised Land? Maybe because he had something better in mind. The Lord has prepared a world full of wonderful things to taste and smell and eat. He wants people to interact with it by gathering its produce from trees, plants, and the animals that he has made. As we eat these things, we share in God's goodness. In one sense, all these things are as miraculous as the manna. How does this seed grow and produce not only edible, but pleasing things from the dirt? God does it. God made this DNA. Imagine a computer program that would do such things. That person would be an instant celebrity or millionaire. In reality, it is made possible for us by the grace of God. Sadly, these miracles that we experience on a daily basis are not always counted as miracles, not because they are not in every way special, but because they have become commonplace and expected. How can we practice a daily routine of thankfulness? The Israelites were also asked to take their offering to a priest. Under the Old Covenant, man could not freely come before God without a priest. God is holy. Nothing we bring before him would be acceptable. This is the reason a priest is necessary to function in between God and man in the Old Testament. In the New Covenant, Jesus Christ is our high priest. All our offerings and prayers go through him. He might be out of sight, but he is very much a key part of our worship. When making this offering, they were asked to declare this day to the Lord my God that I have entered the land which the Lord swore to our fathers to give us. Here they are acknowledging that everything we have thanks to the grace of God. This theme of the land and its provisions being a gift from God runs throughout the passage. To further cultivate an attitude of thankfulness, after handing the harvest to the priest, Moses tells the Israelites to recount the story of how they arrived in the promised land. We read this in verses 5 to 10, and it tells of how Jacob led them down into Egypt, where the first few grew to be a great nation, powerful and numerous, but that they were also oppressed by the Egyptians, causing them to flee into the wilderness, where God provided for them for 40 years before bringing them to the promised land. In so doing, they are not only being reminded of the redemptive events and the blessings of nature, but also that they are given by the grace of God and supported by historical fact. After the worship, they were to sit with their family and celebrate with a meal. Now Moses was very clear that they should invite the Levites and the foreigners in their town. No one should be left out. To put this in 21st century parlance, life is a corporate existence made by and for the sake of each member, regardless of background or belief. Life today is, however, very, very different from in Bible times, when the success of the harvest quite literally meant life or death. Harvests then truly were a gift for God and not bought at the supermarket. Whilst there are some clear links to what we would think of today as a harvest festival in this passage, there is a much wider theme of thankfulness for all God's bounty. The challenge, I believe, is for us to cultivate a daily attitude of thankfulness to God for all his gifts, not just the edible ones, and to consider how, when so few of us are actually involved in food production in the modern age, we can offer our personal harvest, be it money, time, service, or acts of kindness, to God in thanksgiving. Thank you for being with me today, and I hope you continue to enjoy Thought for the Day on behalf of our Avon Valley churches weekdays at 10 a.m. If you have not tuned in before, we also have Saturday Conversation at 10 a.m. and a variety of services on Sunday, as well as a number of online events for children of all ages on the Children, Youth and Families page. I am certain you will find something to interest you. Why not try something new, messy church perhaps, and see me helping by creating all kinds of crafty ideas, including painting with shaving foam and some edible but slightly odd treats. Until next time on Thought for the Day, God bless.